Well, how's life treating you these days? Let that sink in a little bit. Most of my viewers are generally from the United States or Canada. So if you have time to be watching YouTube, probably that means that you're okay. You're okay. And that's great because I try, it's really, I try not to get too much into the news, but I've been a long time news junkie since I'm a kid. And it's been hard to give it up. Give it up for dog cartoons, but dog shorts. They are adorable. Dogs and birds, parrots and ducks, and oh, I like rabbits too. I advise you, if it's life is really getting you, I can't watch any more of this. Watch a few little animal videos. Newborn elephants struggling to stand up, things like that. We need our self-care. We need our self-care. These are really weird, and I don't know if they're really weird. Then I grew up in the 1950s, and we were taught to take cover under a desk from a nuclear bomb. So my age generation, we grew up with the idea of immediate death hanging over us, and I was born like in 1940, right before World War II. And my dad didn't go to, wasn't drafted. He had all kinds of issues, health issues, but my uncles were, and some of my young uncles were, and my aunts. And so there was always that, and neighbors, the immediacy of death. We weren't shielded from it, as we were for a long time. Even during the Vietnam War, I mean, it was horrible, but it was horrible. I'm not going to try to rationalize it. It was terrible. But at least, from around 1975 to recent years. And that what's really awful is that really it's only like a couple of men doing this. There's a couple of men in the world doing this. And they have complete control of the population. I mean, if you're in Russia, you're against the war, and there are apparently a lot of people in Russia who are not delighted with the invasion of Ukraine. You fall out of a window. You just fall out of a window. You get arrested, you get tortured, and then if you get relieved, you fall out of the window. Even if you're a billionaire, even if you're a friend of, Mr. I don't like to say their names because I feel like it's like an incantation, but you know who I'm talking about. And then the other guy who's starving people over in Gaza, you go like, oh. Now, this brings me to a very liberating point that I've come across recently in my life. I'm a writer. I've been a writer my whole life. Now I don't write so much, although I do write occasionally. Nobody reads I have a WordPress page. No, very few of you have read it. And thank you for those who have written to me and given me encouragement that, oh, somebody read this, so I don't know. That's great. And who knows? It's because they're not mysteries, they're not science fiction, they're not romance. They're like sort of slice of life about what it is to be old. Sorry. So I was happening to watch Colbert about a month, maybe 2 months ago. And I have never been attracted to mathematics or astrology or, astrology, no, astronomy. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. Anyway, this guy came on who was a physicist. Also, the name physicist, that word, say that word. We go, no, right? No. Anyway, he was kind of a tall guy with a sort of a Beatles haircut, the old Beatles, not the regular current. And he spoke very well and calmly in a way that I went, oh my God, I understand what he's talking about. And what he was saying was this: we are living in an ever-expanding universe with billions of other galaxies. We don't know how big it is. We have no idea it is. I think they've tracked down to like 14 billion galaxies. It might be trillion. Math isn't my thing. And somehow I went, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Because I walk, as you know, I walk my dog several times a day. If you follow me, you know that. And I often look up at the sky and I get this wonderful feeling, even when it's a little cloudy. Although I get the feeling better when it's blue, and I go, I get this sensation that I'm part of something larger than me, bigger than me and my dog, and the street I live in. And somehow the vastness of it, and that it's ever expanding, and that it's 3.8 billion years old, or we think they'll be able to, because now we have telescopes, big stuff, and they can really, it's not just theory anymore. Einstein had a theory of relativity. What was the other guy with the theory of gravity? Oh God, somebody out there knows. Tell me. I'm old, and if I'm lucky, I'll get older. And I just found that such a relief, because I think this narrow life. Well, we all live our lives. I live with me and my dog. I'm single. I live alone for many years now, 30 years, and I actually never thought that would happen. I always thought I would marry and have kids. Go figure. But it just never. I felt early on I could be very poor. I went, I'm going to be really poor if I do this, and I'm going to bring up really poor children, and we're going to struggle. And that stopped, and then I got, to 38, 39. There's not a whole lot of guys left out there, by the way, ladies. If you want to marry, you're going to have to take your chances on the guy you meet in the 20s. Because by the time they're in their 30s, they're so banged up. They've got so much baggage. They've got so many problems. And you're like, And also, you don't really need to do that if you want to have children. Anyway, I think if you're feeling right now a little trapped in your life, step outside. Just step outside. And understand that nobody understands this. Nobody really, we have two choices. I think a priest said this 100 years ago, and he said, your choices are mathematics or salvation, which is you can have a spiritual belief that there is some intelligent source that has created all this. Or you can look at the math and go, oh, nobody understands. There was a huge vacuum for, they don't know how many years. And something happened in the vacuum. A little wiggle happened in the vacuum. And then that created something. That great, the vast darkness, it's called. Anyway, that's my little introduction to physics. By the way, there are women now, young women, who are talking this language. I go like, oh, wow. It was worth it. It was worth getting beat up and called all kinds of names and being mean to our lesbian friends because we didn't want to be identified just because we were feminists as gay. Hey, I don't really care. And that's the other thing. I don't really care about this stuff. I don't understand why everybody's like losing their minds because some people are different. So what? So what? Who cares? Who cares what bathroom they're using? And we all know that pedophiles and rapists are straight guys. Come on. Come on. Grow up. Those are my thoughts for the morning. I hope they haven't disturbed your coffee. They haven't. By the way, I love day-old coffee. I know, I know that's sick, but I'm not sick. I'm healthy. And tip for long health. As long as you can do your own toenails, as long as you can give yourself a pedicure, you're in great health. Love ya. Bye.